Hey everybody, it's DJ Nikki with WXCD 107.3 FM in the studio with Cassie. We're in here talking about our weekly news wrap-up brought to us by elwoodcity.org. Cassie, how are you this week?
Yeah, I'm all right, Nikki. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a pretty good week so far.
Has it?
Well, it's been a busy week, but it's still a good week. By the way, if you guys hear anything kicking on and off in the background, that would be the air conditioning. Why? Because it is beautiful outside today. Of course, we live in Pennsylvania. By the time this airs, it might be snowing.
Yeah.
You never know.
Good point.
All right, so we have a lot of news to talk about this wrap-up show.
Yeah, on Monday, the council meeting obviously went on, and so that brought a lot of content for the week. Specifically, there was more going on with the electric, and another thing is that about a month ago, we brought you guys this story about a former councilman asking council to oppose the new water treatment plant that's going to be coming in because it's going to be grabbing water from the Connequanescent and Beaver River as opposed to the Slippery Rock Creek.
Right.
And I spoke with Connie McDonald, our council president, about this and, what conclusions have we drawn since then? Because like I said, it was a month ago that this happened. And anyways, Connie told me that the council and the borough themselves don't actually have any power over this water treatment plant coming in and being replaced or whatever because it's privately owned by the Pennsylvania American Water Company. And the only thing that they've done, the only thing that they can do is file a complaint with them and ask them to review their decision, which they have done. But it looks as though this new plant is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to take place.
Do they have they have a time projected for that?
I reached out to the PA American Water Company, and I'm still waiting to hear back about that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to continue updating on further shows whenever we find out some more information.
Yeah, definitely. Even on the post on Facebook, it says updates to follow because it's kind of a thing that is going to need constant updates. Yeah, constant follow-ups. And also, guys, don't forget, you can always check out everything that we talk about here on WXCD by going to elwoodcity.org and checking out through the pages. Cassie's pretty good at keeping everything updated over there. Yeah.
Also, if you ever hear a broadcast and you think to yourself, I'd like to catch that again, or you know somebody who maybe they work on Saturdays and they can't catch the show, Cassie posts all the shows on elwoodcity.org. So if you miss a weekly news wrap-up and you want to get caught up again, you want to catch a detail that you might have missed, just go to elwoodcity.org. Check it out. We're working here at the station, and we have a new guy here. I don't know, Cassie, if I told you. Pretty well-established Christian rap artist, and he goes by Made Sacred. I was going to say Sacred Made, but it's Made Sacred.
I know you're not good with names. We've had this discussion.
I am terrible with names. I mean, it's a well-known fact, but he's really talented, and he's also a pretty good whiz at stuff like networking and social media and all that. So he's working on getting all of our shows that we do here to be streamed out over our website. So that's up and coming too.
Okay, that's really exciting to hear about.
So anyway, what else we got going on in the news this week?
I guess to go along with what I was just talking about, recent news reports are actually showing that despite people thinking that the water that comes from the Slippery Rock Creek being clean, there have been high levels of a chemical called chromium-6 being leached
which is a byproduct.
Yeah, leached into our water. They're kind of deeming it unsafe amounts, environment officials. And that's an issue that's going to be kind of ongoing, and it kind of has been because the U.S. EPA has been researching it and doing studies all across the nation.
I mean, I know me personally, we started using water filters. I mean, even though we purchase them, on a personal level. And, it just, when I cook with it, it doesn't bother me, because of the high heat from cooking. When I take a shower, it doesn't really bother me because, I buy the best soap, whatever. My skin is soft. But for our drinking purposes, we buy a water filter. And The reason that we had done that was because of the high levels of lead that had been detected in counties around us.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
as well.
because the way the water works is if it's all around you, it's not real long before you start noticing it too.
Right.
And then, you know, we started noticing kind of a, I don't want to say a strong chlorine smell, but you could definitely smell it, you know, from them trying to treat it and everything. And then I was reading reports about the high levels of fluoride, which people hear the word fluoride and they think, oh, well, that's good because that's good for your
it's
teeth.
horrible. I actually
Yeah, but-
covered this.
Fluoride
in
levels in your water are horrible.
Yes, it's really bad for you.
And I had read a report, and it's been a long time, so the details are faded far away because my brain just doesn't retain like it used to. But it was way back. They did a survey of dentists, and they wanted to know if it was beneficial to add fluoride to your water. And all of them said absolutely not. Absolutely is not beneficial.
That's because it doesn't do anything like for your teeth whenever it goes into your
Right, you're ingesting
digestive
it.
tract. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you're
does
ingesting
absolutely
it.
nothing.
And I had read this report that there was actually a corporation who kind of had a financial gain in the whole situation. And they paid a few dentists to go on and convince one community, that it was beneficial. And the reason they did that is because the company was the one providing it. And then once the one community did it, everybody kind of jumped on this bandwagon that this is what you were supposed to do. And then it became common practice.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
when I was
still
in
common
school,
practice.
Literally, they used to give us little cups
Yep.
about the size of a shot glass of fluoride,
Oh, I know.
you know, and then they quit doing that. And
Well, no, actually, my cousins who are like younger, they're just kids.
they're still doing it.
Well, they don't get cups, but they give them like fluoride tablets that you're
Tablets.
supposed to like chew and swish around in your mouth, and they taste delicious.
Yeah.
And it's
I just, when
so
I was
bad.
a kid, I believed what everybody else believed, that fluoride
Yeah.
was excellent for you, blah, blah, blah. And then I just, you know, in the last couple of years, been reading these reports about how horrible fluoride is for you.
Well, a lot of conspiracy theorists and actually a lot of scientists have done studies on this, believe that like the government's putting it in the water because it calcifies your pineal gland, which is like your creative thinking gland.
Trying to dumb us all down, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So that we sit in
That
front of
must
the
be
news.
why you
and,
see all those
yeah.
artists and cool people walking around with their bottled water because they're all too smart to drink it.
Yeah.
You know, but I know whenever I lived, when I lived down here before, you know, we had a water machine that takes the big giant 5-gallon jugs. And, you know, we have a supplier here locally, and it was not expensive, so we always used it. And now that I live up in Shenango, we just we got one that attaches right to the sink, you know.
Apparently, though, for this specific chemical,
The chromium?
Yeah, it's chromium 6 because there's actually different types of like chromium and like
Okay.
there's off branches with it. This is chromium 6 specifically, and you cannot filter out with just a regular filter. You have to, like, the best way to do it, they said online anyways, would be with a reverse osmosis filter. And I don't know if you know anything about them, but they are so expensive.
Wow. So like science class in your kitchen at a pretty dollar?
Yeah, apparently it's actually supposed to filter out fluoride as well.
Oh, wow.
So lead,
Wow.
fluoride, this chromium 6, apparently.
All that bad stuff.
Yeah. So I guess it would be worth investing into if you don't already have one. I mean, personally, I can't afford it.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be able to afford something like that.
And I was actually looking at options for like bottled water that's already reverse osmosis, but I haven't really found anything that I, for one, either trust or, you know, have found anything that really strikes my fancy as being like something that I want to drink.
Right.
You know,
Well,
or
if
could
you
afford
find
to
something
drink.
good, make sure you post it up on elwoodcity.org so we all know.
I will. I will definitely.
I will follow your propaganda, girl. I promise.
Well, thank you for the continued support, Nikki.
So what else do we have this week?
Let me see here. Oh, there was a hilarious, well, I thought it was hilarious, police report that someone stole this lady's Hillary Clinton sign out of her house. Like he lured her away from the house by calling her and telling her that there was like a Democratic voting committee event, and she decided, like, she agreed to go. And whenever she went, no one was there. But whenever she got home, her Hillary Clinton sign was taken and replaced with the Donald Trump sign. And then this anonymous caller calls her husband and is like, hey, why didn't I see your wife at the event?
Oh my gosh.
Like he was like taunting her. And I thought it was so funny.
Wow.
Because apparently there's been like more reports of like people having their Hillary Clinton signs taken.
Oh my.
So if anyone has the Hillary Clinton sign, just make sure that you keep an eye on it, because someone might trump you.
Somebody might trump you. That's fabulous.
Oh, it was good.
I drive down here from Shenango, and there's this one strip of road coming through one of the small little municipalities, and literally the whole street must be in a clan together, because as you're driving, you see the Trump signs. So my kids will always read them out, and they'll go, Trump, 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 because every single yard has Trump signs in it. And I said to my kids one time, I'm like, I wonder if they really all agreed to have Trump signs, or if somebody just came along and put them all in.
Oh, yeah. Well, could be, because apparently
there was a year,
here.
it was several years ago, because I want to say that my kids are really little, but somebody got in a lot of trouble for putting signs in people's yards without asking. They get,
I believe someone actually commented on the post, like the police report that I posted, and said pretty much that exact same thing. Like, you can get in a lot of trouble for, one, taking a sign, and two,
putting up a sign you don't have permission to put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if whoever does this is listening, you better stop, because you might get in a lot of trouble, even though it's funny for a lot of people.
I just like the way you said she got trumped.
That's what. No, okay, listen. My article is actually titled "Woman Gets Trumped by Mysterious Caller." So
I love you.
I know. I loved it. I was like, "This is."
It was fabulous.
Yeah, this is great. Anyways, onto something that's a little bit more serious. Elwood residents may expect higher taxes in the new year due to council passing a bond for $9 million. This bond is for like updates in the community, like a new fire truck, new buildings, new this, new that. And supposedly council says that is all stuff that really needs to be updated. Residents, however, think that they don't really need to update a lot of these things, and that they should utilize what they already have, like old buildings and whatnot that are usable, as opposed to spending money and putting up new ones. And I also spoke to Connie about this, and I asked him, like, is it really going to be a noticeable amount, if at all, whenever the taxes do increase, if they do? And he said it's not going to be likely more than like $1 million increase. And overall, he gave the example that on a $50,000 house, you might pay $50 more a year on your property tax. So,
I mean, $50 a year isn't a huge hike.
No, but people are saying that with that on top of the, like electric and whatnot, they just can't.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Because, they've always said that the increased electric made up for the fact that we don't really have a lot of tax increases. And I was wondering if the increase in taxes was going to at least level out the electric, so that it's not going higher.
Yeah.
Because I know that you recently reported just a couple weeks ago that residents are expected to see a higher rate now, and they were already up in arms about it. So I don't live down here anymore, so I can't tell you a difference in the electric bill. But I just I hope that they can all come to some kind of a agreeable arrangement, because
people
come next
really
year, if
angry.
people have increased taxes and increased electrical rate, it's the Sudis are already upset.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, that page has just been like
it's been
so
blown
lit.
up.
Yeah, since the council meeting on Monday. And, specifically people are saying like there's not been a lot of change. They haven't seen anything really being done. However, the borough manager did just change the hours of the borough office for the people that, need to pay their bills or need to speak with someone. And the hours are posted on our site. So for anyone that's interested in knowing what the new hours are, they're posted. But anyways, yeah, people are just really, really angry about the electric. And there's a ton of people that are threatening to move out or have moved out and said, this is why we moved out. And you should have been at the council meeting. Honestly, it was so intense. Oh, it really was.
See, we're on the same way. I got you.
Of course, Dave Ghoulish was there. He made a lot of good points, and he speaks for a lot of people whenever he goes, especially because he does his own private investigation on the matter.
He's knowledgeable and passionate.
Yeah, and he really is. And he doesn't own a house in Elwood anymore, but his business is here.
Yeah.
Actually, he does still own a house here, but he doesn't live here.
He doesn't live here.
Yeah, he's trying to sell it. But his business is here, and, he's been here for a really long time. And so he still cares about these matters.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like I said, he's speaking for a lot of people at these council meetings because he asked council what a lot of people
want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, whenever he was there on Monday, he asked council, what has been done? What changes have actively been made for this electric situation?
Right, because people don't want to think that everything's just being talked about. They want to see that steps are in place.
Yes. And after the council meeting, Dave walked away feeling like, not a lot of things were actively done since the whole thing began. And actually on their website, well, not their website, his Facebook group page, Standing Up to Elwood Electric.
If anybody ever hears us say SUDIs, that's what we're talking about. SUDI stands for Standing Up Against Elwood Electric.
Yes. He actually posted a petition against Elwood Electric. And another attendee of the meeting, who also walked away feeling very unsatisfied with what was going on, posted on Facebook and said that she's had enough with what's going on, and she's trying to arrange a protest in front of the municipal building for specifically the electric. And again, all this information is on our website.
And I'm all about peaceful protest. I mean, I'm all about people speaking their opinions and standing up for what they believe in. But please, people out there, do not make it ugly, because, a protest that gets ugly gets nobody anywhere.
No.
I mean,
we do not want to be that.
A peaceful protest, let your voice be heard, and a lot of times will lead to positive action, but an angry protest that allows itself to get emotional gets nobody anywhere. We've seen it too many times.
Isn't there that protest going on right now, down in California, Charlotte, I believe?
I'm going to tell you, I've seen probably 5 big protests on the news just this week. And it's obviously, because, no offense to you, I know that you work for the news, but media focuses on the protests that get out of hand.
Right.
The ones that get emotional and they get violent, because it just makes for better ratings.
Yes.
But if you look at the heart of the issues, the protests where people stand up for what they believe in, but they keep a level head, are more likely the people that will get listened to, and they'll work with them to find a resolve. And it's the same thing. If you have a child and you go to the grocery store and your child asks you for a candy bar and you say no, if the child would calmly ask again, can I please have that? Or my kids used to negotiate. Well, if you get me this now, I won't eat it until after dinner. My kids learned how to negotiate with me.
That's cute.
Now, however, I would be more likely to buy my kids a candy bar when they decided, well, let's make a deal, and be sane about it, as opposed to one of my other children. I won't name who he is, but he has a temper. He would just start kicking and screaming and crying, and that absolutely shuts you down right there. You won't get it.
Yeah, right.
At all. And it's the same thing. I don't mean to compare protesters to angry toddlers, But I'm just saying, it's anything in your life, if you can maintain open communication and you can maintain, a level of maturity and keep your emotions down, you're just going to get further. People are going to listen to you. I went to a court hearing one time, and walking in there, the judge already had the mindset that the police officer was correct and I was wrong. But after listening to me speak to him, he said to me, "You're not going to pay a dime of these fines." And he said to me directly, he said, "If you would have came in here being erratic and emotional, I had already decided, literally when you walked in here, that you were going to pay these fines." He said, "But after you kept a level head and you spoke and you stayed calm, I realized that you were in the right and you won't pay any fines." And, so I always tell everybody, I'm like, if you just keep calm and you articulate your point, people are more likely to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly.
When you start yelling and acting all erratic, people just kind of they shut you off. Like the listening switch is done.
Yeah.
So that's my only advice. If you guys want to have a protest, make it peaceful, please.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'd hate to see anything get out of hand.
Speaking of getting out of hand, our time frame is going to get out of hand. So we need to talk about what else you got on your list over there before we run out of time.
The last thing that I wanted to bring up was that at the council meeting, I know that this has come up before, but Bob Villella does not meet the residential requirement of the borough manager.
I've heard that.
Position. And like I said, I know that this has been talked about before, but this was before I was the journalist.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot of comments about it previously. However, Dave Golish brought it up at this council meeting, and he actually asked Bob Villella to resign because he does not meet that residential requirement. However, council said, okay, we'll take action on that tonight and we will vote on it. They voted to, continue the suspension of the residential requirement for borough manager. People are, again, really kind of upset about this. Not so much because they don't want, or it's not that they wish horrible things upon Bob or anything like that. The thing that people are upset about is just how can council kind of make their own rules? And that's exactly what Dave said. He was like, well, you guys can just vote together to make your own rules and then pass this stuff. What else can you guys pass? And just make your own stuff up about. Again, I'm completely neutral on the situation. I like Bob. He's always been fantastic to talk to and give me information. And, I've never had an issue with him. I've never had an issue with anyone on council. But, again, I'm presenting the news, and that was a really hot topic.
It does
standing up to Elwood
It
Electric.
does seem like it would stand to reason that if that's their policy and it's council's position to vote in who's going to be there and who's not going to be there and, what stipulations allow them to be there or not, it stands to reason that they should have faith in their population, Elwood, to choose someone who is most qualified. Now, you're saying that Bob Villella has always done a great job. Everybody that I talk to likes him.
Oh,
So,
I think he's a wonderful guy.
there should be enough faith in that to say, let the public vote whether to put down the policy of the fact that you need to be a resident. Because if people are satisfied with the job that someone's doing, a lot of them are going to vote and say, you know what, it shouldn't matter if he lives in the city. If he's doing a good job for the city, then he should be allowed to do that. But then there is no question of, conspiracy and control by one set group of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because then it would be open to the public to say, well, as long as you're going to do a good job, it shouldn't matter where you live.
Yes.
You show up in Elwood every day to do your job, and you do a job that is right by the residents, then, that way there's no question about it. I mean, because I don't think council's wrong for allowing Bob Villella to stay in office, but Dave Golish has a point, because I'm either way either, you know what I mean? I don't take sides with it either because they both have good points, so to appease people like Dave and people in the community, maybe they should consider making it an open vote to vote for whether the residency policy should be suspended. Because like I said, a lot of people that I talk to are pleased with the job that Bob Villella does. So I would think that a lot of people would say, yeah, you know what? He's doing a great job. Let him stay.
Yeah, I think, mainly just a lot of people that are against it are the ones that are upset about the electric. And that's completely understandable.
Thing. It's like, people who feel like they don't have a voice will then get angry about everything that they feel like they don't have a voice on, even if it's not something that was an issue that they were concerned about. Like I said, the more people maintain open communication and level-headedness, and the more talking that is done between the residents of Elwood and the council of Elwood. Now, people always remember, if Jonathan used to say this all the time, if you don't like who is in office, then use your American given right and vote for the people that you want.
Well, it's crazy because all these people have these voices whenever they're on Facebook, but
that's what I'm saying.
When you go to a council meeting, I would be curious
to know how many people who complain about things that they don't like. I would be curious to know how many of them actually voted their local representatives in, their council, or how many of them voted.
Or, just even showing up to the council meetings, maybe there was, and I'm overestimating this, maybe there was 10 visitors.
And if you look at the numbers on Facebook, there's like 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's the same issue everywhere. If people are going to jump on a bandwagon, then
they should do something to actively help their community.
I feel like that's what I'm always saying.
We talk about this every week.
We do. It always seems to come up every single week. If you don't like what's going on in your community, take an active role. But if you want your active role to be beneficial, please keep a level head. Don't let emotions get in there.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to WXCD 107.3 FM, The Moose here in Elwood City. That was Cassie, and this was brought to you by elwoodcity.org. Again, if you missed out on anything or you want to hear it again, Cassie always posts the show the following week. So this show you can catch next week on elwoodcity.org.